Nice. Okay, so we have a position 2 replay review with Pingaling.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Pingaling? Okay. Um, so what's your MMR, and give me like a sort of a breakdown in terms of what type of player you are, and what do you want to get out of Dota? Just those two things.
Okay, my current MMR is 4K and climbing. I don't play that much rank though because of my schedule. And then, let's see. My playstyle, I'd say, generally depends on my hero. I play like two different ways. I either play extremely greedy or extremely sacrificial. I kind of have trouble doing anything in between. And I guess that also depends on my hero. Like my main heroes, I guess, would be Invoker is my most played hero. And I play a lot of Drow, I play a lot of Storm, I play a lot of Meepo, I play a lot of Arc Warden, I play Tinker, I play Visage, I play Anti-Mage, I play
Like those are from the mid lane, all those?
mostly, yeah.
Okay. And what active heroes do you play?
Quas Lex Invoker,
Okay.
and I usually play Spirit Heroes active
Cool.
when I play the Spirits. It depends, obviously, but usually active. And then, I don't know if you consider SF an active hero, but he's like an active greedier hero that I play.
Yeah. He can kill people once he gets his items, but he still needs to farm to his time.
Exactly. I play Pangolier mid too.
Alright.
He's pretty active.
So did you ask for this Invoker?
It was suggested to me, and then I said sure.
Nice.
I kind of just play Invoker, like that's my default go-to mid. So.
Cool. So what hero were you expecting in the mid lane?
Lone Druid.
The Lone Druid. So
Yeah.
you're thinking Razor. Is this because this player is like is a Lone Druid and a mid
He's
player?
a Lone Druid player. Yeah.
Okay.
We should have banned it, but my captain was like, "Yeah, I'm not worried about it." And I
Sure.
was like, "Okay, if you say so." And then but.
So Lone Druid, do you know Lone Druid, like what the playstyle is going to be? How would you describe like the first 20 minutes of a Lone Druid game?
Well, generally Lone Druid's a pretty strong laner because he just has two heroes,
Yep.
and the bear being really tanky, so it's hard, especially as an invoker, because like pre-level 3 invoker, regardless of what build you're going, it's pretty weak.
Mm-hmm.
So first few levels, I don't really expect to get much from him. I'm just trying to click down his bear, and then afterwards, he just starts to jungle pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I just try to get as much farm as I can, so I can get my like couple of items, because they wanted me to do like big damage combos with like the axe and everything.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, so I'll go Exort. I'll just try to survive the bear lane until he goes to jungle, and then get as much farm, and then transition into fighting.
Cool. So a couple things I'm noticing right away is okay. So you guys 5-man and protect your runes. I think that's sweet. Okay. So like a big thing here is you're going for 2 wraith bands, or sorry, null talismans, right?
Not necessarily.
I mean, you think this
I
might
play with 2 circlets because sometimes I go for an urn, but it just depends.
Yeah, I mean,
Urn on Exort is less common than it is on Wex.
Yeah,
On
definitely.
Exort is so good if you're fighting early,
sure.
but sometimes I also just have the circuit like casually for the stats, and then I'm selling it later.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I
not
think in this
the
game
worst
I go
thing.
for 2 nulls, but I probably didn't need 2 nulls. in
So
this game.
what do you think the function of a null is? Like, what's the benefit?
It's a laning item.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Good.
it's supposed to help
We
you in the
don't need to talk. It's 100% a laning item.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about anything about it. So like, are you expecting to dominate the lane? How much impact is this null? Like one is like you gotta ask how important is the laning phase for you, and then 2 you also have to ask, like how is your lane gonna go? So you're against this Lone Druid, who's it's a stalemate laner. Like there's no like he's gonna dumpster melee heroes. So if you're playing like Ember Spirit or like, especially like a low armor melee core, Lone Druid is gonna dominate. But against an Invoker, you're gonna trade farm. So, and there's lots of lane matchups that are like that where you're just gonna trade. So I'm not sure if nulls are going to be valuable in those situations, and I think just getting to your first item faster might be a better decision. And like null is going to be like you're about to spend, especially on 2 nulls, you're about to spend 1,000 gold on laning items when your lane is already, you can anticipate that it's probably, doesn't matter if you have 2 nulls, doesn't matter if you rush a Midas, you're probably going to end up with the same CS at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's sort of, like, so like these small decisions, they totally matter, because this might be the difference between like a 6-minute Midas and an 11-minute Midas, if you are going to go Midas. And I mean, Midas might be something that you always go on Invoker, which
it's like situational.
Yeah, I mean, you're also with this Luna who's gonna like, so your farm is actually pretty limited this game, I would say. Like, Luna's gonna take all of these camps.
Yeah.
Am I streaming on Discord? I think so.
Yes, you are. The quality is really low for some reason.
Oh, is it? Shit. Yeah, probably because I'm streaming at the same time.
Could be,
Your axe is also gonna probably take your ancient camp.
Knowing this Doof God player, he actually doesn't really do that.
Okay.
So that's why I knew I would have the triangle early.
Okay, that's good. So like, if I was just like, I'm gonna expect your axe to be like, quote unquote, as good, like, like whatever, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, sometimes that the axe isn't gonna be like, so then maybe the Midas Rush doesn't matter.
This is an RD2L game, so I know all these players fairly well, right? But
so I mean, I think rushing Midas probably would have been a little bit better. And I mean, you're going travels, you assume, or definitely not going phase boots, right?
Yeah, I went travels this game.
So
I did kind of rush the Midas. It's just because also Invoker really early has mana problems.
Yeah.
Right. Like, especially as Exort, because you don't have, you don't necessarily build an urn, so you don't have that for mana regen, and so sometimes I just get the null because it's a little bit helpful with that, and then it does help with like CSing and whatnot, a tiny bit, especially since I use my meteor to push out the wave a lot of times, right? The bonus spell amp, like, it's just a bunch of little things. So, but that's why I went for 1. I didn't go for 2 though. So, like I said, it was just kind of passive stats. I don't necessarily. I guess I probably could have saved money in terms of like going for like less stat items at the start, and then just saving gold instead of just spending all my starting gold.
Sure.
So that's kind of like a habit that I have. It's just like, unless I'm playing support,
I mean, it makes sense to spend this shit. I mean, yeah, you could have just like, I don't know. There's some options, but I mean,
yeah, I just figured I needed as much help as possible last hitting versus the bear for the first couple of last hits, right?
So the bear only has 20 damage. It's actually not that good. Like, you actually,
I mean,
has a
it's
quelling
like 60
blade
total-ish or whatever, but he also has a quelling blade on the bear, which is like another 15, so it ends up being around 70 or so, isn't it?
You're not so like outsourced there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about number 1. Let's talk about your laning. So, the lone druid you can see here. Is this a higher MMR player than you?
He's like immortal, I think.
Yeah. So you're gonna anticipate some skill difference in terms of the laning phase if this person is a mid player. They're immortal for a reason, and so hopefully I can come in and identify the things that he's doing and the things that you're not doing, perhaps. So trying to give you a couple, small things. I think that there was a decision here that went too far back. There was a decision here that kind of impacted how your lane goes. So like, I agree with I don't agree with pulling this range creep back. So like, you really want to be very careful about when you're doing this creep pull, this drag pull. So when you want to, it's going to be really challenging for you to contest this range creep, and you can see it here. Like, this guy's he's stronger than you. Normally you want to do this when you can take advantage of the situation. So I think by pulling this creep back when you are like knowing that you're going to be a weaker, like, contester of this kind of stuff, it's not the best. Like, if the lone druid had dragged the creep to, like, the melee creeps to this range creep, then you drag your guys back. I think that's a fair trade. But I think you initiating it isn't the best idea, and you can see here why. So like, you pull this creep. Well, I mean, you actually went for a harass, but that may have just
I
been
tried
a
to
mistake.
click on him and then also pull the creeps. Yeah.
Sure. So you get a click. That's fine. But now you're actually kind of at a losing situation here. So I'm not sure you really want to drag the creeps back too consistently here. Like here, I would drag the creeps back for sure.
Yeah.
Because like it's a high ground versus a low ground situation, and you don't want to ever be fighting high ground. But yeah, you're already starting to get zoned out a little bit. Okay, you have 2 range creeps pushing into you.
Yeah.
One thing that lone druids
my
can
goal
be,
in this lane currently anyway was to just try to make his lane push as hard so I can have like an easier time CSing, right?
Sure. Make his lane push as hard, as you said?
Like make his so that his lane is pushing into my tower so that I can just last it under tower, essentially.
Sure.
I felt like by pulling the creep wave back, like my range creep dies first, and that ultimately ends up in,
Pushing the tower.
Wave. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not sure that's the best approach in this lane. Like,
I mean, I'm not either. That's just what I did.
Yeah. I mean, now that you have the Sword Spirit, you're actually pretty competitive with
CSing, yeah.
Yeah. So I think your goal should actually probably to just maintain creep equilibrium slightly favored towards you.
Okay.
And you're not in like a terribly disadvantaged position.
Yeah.
You're like, if you were in a losing matchup, I could see like really trying to make things difficult for the lone druid. That would make sense. Like if you're like an Ember Spirit or like something that can get just like harassed down. But I think in these lane trading situations, like you really would just want to maximize your farm, minimize their farm, instead of just trying to throw like the dynamic out the window. You don't really need to get crazy here because like you are an Exort Invoker. Like you're gonna, especially level 3, you're gonna get like a pretty significant damage bonus. And, especially once you finish these nulls, like you'll be pretty strong and you'll have a pretty good ability to farm. So
yeah, I agree.
I think that like this lane is currently pushing, which is good. And so what I would recommend is trying to manipulate the creep wave so that you are high ground and he's low ground. So try and have the equilibrium like stay here-ish.
Okay.
And that's hard to do, obviously. It's a pretty like challenging thing. Nice deny.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Your CS is relatively low here. Hopefully after this wave you can balance it out a bit.
To preface too, this was like my first game of Invoker in like 2 months because I've been a carry player for the past like year-ish mostly, so I'm just getting back into mid. So
sure.
I'm definitely rusty at mechanic wise anyway. But like I said, I've been doing your CS homework with Invoker.
It's good, bro.
And other mids.
Okay, so like we're at 9. Lone Druid has a 2 CS advantage. I think this is reasonable. I think you've purchased this Null Talisman. Where's your courier? Okay, it's
just sitting there right now.
It's 2 minutes in. The mid lane, you need to have a really active courier.
Yeah. I was just being greedy, to be honest. I just wanted to get the next component for my Midas too, that goes with it.
Yeah, I think this is 100% a bit of a grief. Like you could have already let's see what did you have enough money for this? So you have enough money basically. How much is the null recipe?
It's like 165.
Well, yeah, 220. So like if you had hit these CS like as soon as one, I don't think it doesn't look like you have anything on your quick buy. Okay, so right here, this is a minute, right? So you should have had this item on your quick buy. You should have brought it out to immediately.
Yeah.
Your courier is positioned nicely. It's good. And 100%, this would have been an extra, like, I don't know.
An extra second or so, yeah, I know, and I agree, it definitely makes a difference. I guess just the issue this game, I wasn't sure if I was going to go Midas yet, so I wasn't submitted on, like, bringing out my courier, because I didn't want to, like, send my courier, like, halfway, and then decide, like, once it gets halfway here that I want my gloves of face or my boots of or speed, whatever next, right? So.
But the good thing about bringing this out immediately is it wouldn't have mattered. By the time you had your 500 gold, your courier would have been already back in base.
Yeah, I guess so.
So 100%, like mid lane is like these items matter. Actually,
they
a lot
matter more than like the other lanes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like you only right now have like 28 intelligence or whatever. So if you can get this advantage here, this like extra mana regen and the spell amplification, which this thing sucks. Null Talismans are garbage. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
They don't give it anything.
They get nerfed over and over and over again.
Like, this is not useful for you at all. This mana regen and fucking spell amp.
Yeah, it's not much for sure, but
I don't know.
I feel like it makes a little bit of a difference, and at least getting the 1 since I already started with the 2 items.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe you just spam Ironwood branches. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this Null Talisman. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. Alright, I have a feeling you're going to try and drag the creep wave back. Let's see. Okay, so he does. So when he does it, I think you have to reciprocate this. And then you can threaten the Sunstrike. Okay, we got to kill with it. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, right here. This is perfect, right? This is 100%. This is where you want to be, especially against a Lone Druid, because I'm pretty sure the bear doesn't take any creep aggro, so you can smack it as much as you can. So your whole job here is staticking the lane, 100%. Yeah. So don't let the creeps hit your tower. Reciprocate whatever sort of lane dynamic that the Lone Druid is doing. Reciprocate it immediately, and try not to push. Try not to like have all the creeps die at the same time, kind of thing. You know, obviously you want to leave one of their creeps alive until your creeps can arrive. So you're going to be like, you know, probably denying your creeps as soon as they hit 50% health. But the hard part here is noticing, you know, there's two elements here. One is going to be noticing what creep dynamic, equilibrium, whatever is the most important to the lane. Your hypothesis in this lane was pull it under my tower. You know, I think that's the wrong approach. I think that you'd want to keep it in a favorable creep equilibrium. You definitely don't want to push until you can farm. I didn't necessarily mean
pull it under my tower. I just meant like I want it in this position here. That's what I was aiming for. But ideally, I just wanted it closer to my building than to his.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, this is 100%. Yeah. So this is what I would call a favorable creep equilibrium in the mid lane.
Yeah.
The creeps are on your high ground. That means he's going to be missing last hits. You know, if he's going uphill, and you have the ability to harass without really getting slapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're smacking this bear, and this bear can die, especially once you get a little cold snappy.
Yeah, that's one thing I always like underestimate, because I play like 90% of my games of Invoker or Quaswex, so I always underestimate my kill potential early as Exort Invoker, because I know I definitely could have killed that bear. I just, like, in hindsight anyway, but at the time I always
that's a matchup thing, especially if you're not spamming Invoker, you're not really going to recognize that, and especially if you're not like, you know, used to the LD matchup. Okay, so what I want to see from you right this very second is recognize that, like, you know, you need to pull the creeps need to be here. So what I probably would have done is summon my little dude or tank a little bit of damage and just not drag this creep wave all the way back.
Okay.
Because if you drag the creeps all the way back, your creeps are going to hit it. You know, it's going to take some time for you to kill the creeps that are under your tower. And then the next wave is going to end up pushing under your tower. And now your lane's going to push. So stand, like, you know, around here or whatever. Like, you're barely taking any damage, especially when you're kiting. But it looks like, you know, you drag it pretty deep, which, you know, now your creep lane, it's still in a pretty good spot. So it ended up working out. We pull it. I think you're probably trying to deny this guy.
Yeah.
You know, you really are only going to want to push this lane when you have the ability to
jungle camps. Yeah, which that's when I start pushing it as well.
Worked out. I'm
There's a bit of a miscommunication going on there.
That's fine.
What caused that? But
that's literally you can't coach that, right? That just happens.
Yeah.
We're just trying to look at, you know, things that are like mechanical decision-making kind of stuff. Okay, all right. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. Your opponent is dead for, you know, how long? I don't know, whatever. 10 seconds, like 15 seconds. Okay.
10 seconds. Yeah. Okay.
So in this situation, you need to push the lane. You need to push the lane instantly. As soon as your opponent is dead, you want to shove it under their tower as fast as possible. And the reason being is when they're dead, they can't get XP.
Yeah.
So you're dawdling here. It looks to me like you haven't recognized it until maybe now. You know, I actually think you're just CSing. I don't think you're actually even trying to push it.
I'm totally just CSing. Yeah.
So the next time, this is a super small thing. It's not important. It's like really minor. But as soon as your opponent is dead, this is how you're going to like, you know, like you need to take advantage of like your wins. I come from StarCraft, and in StarCraft, one of the main mottos is when you're ahead, get more ahead.
Yeah.
So you need to leverage your advantages that you make, because if you're not leveraging those advantages, then you're giving your opponents time to get back in the game. So anytime somebody is down in Dota, you need to kick them.
Yeah.
And so, spawning your fucking little dude, if the cooldown was up, and smacking this creep wave and forcing it under tower, like this guy could have like you just gave him 39 gold. And
so he could have had 0.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I mean,
I didn't really want to push it though, because like I said, the Void Spirit at the time, he was trying to gank again, right? So I wanted to keep it so that
it is perfect.
Lone wouldn't be under.
It would have been fucking amazing if he was under tower and you ganked him.
Really?
Yeah. So like, let's think about this, right? So, where's your Void Spirit? He's here, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where the fuck he was like 10 seconds ago or whatever, but like, the Lone Druid's about to spawn. The creep wave is now. So let's say you have pushed it, and now the creep wave is under tower.
Yeah.
So now the creeps. I'm not sure that you have. Let me go Vision Dire. So you don't currently have vision over where the Lone Druid is going to TP.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about predictability, and the best time to kill somebody is when they have just TP'd, because you can see where the TP is. Chances are they're going to TP in the woods here. So like, you should be set up to do this. This is a much better play, is shoving this lane. Who cares? It's a level 1 tower. It's probably just going to hit these melee creeps. Like it's not going to hit you. So the Void Spirit should probably be like right here. And then you just have a remnant ready for like when he TPs, because he's probably TPing in the woods, so he doesn't fucking see anybody. So the remnant immediately catches him. You land the Sunstrike or whatever. And this guy's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Much better play than, like, not only that, but he's also lost 2 CS. So even if your gank doesn't, even if your gank fails, you still would have had, a small advantage. So, and like, yeah, again, whatever, misses the thing, no cold snap. Probably should have cold snap.
He told me to wait on the cold snap. I shouldn't have listened. But
fuck him. Nice. Okay, so now we're at the point where we should probably be thinking of lane shove plus jungle on Invoker.
It's usually this level that I pick up Wex, and then I start using, like, I'm pretty sure I push out this wave and then Meteor the next wave.
Nice. So like this type of, I mean, like, what are you accomplishing here? I'm not sure much. I don't know what your other options are, but like, you trying to push the wave. Killing the catapult's a good idea, I guess. So that's a pretty big priority. It's convenient you're against an LD, but if you were against like a puck or an SF or something, like playing around getting your lanes pushed out for the runes, like neither of you are bottle players.
Yeah.
So, but that's another factor. Okay, right here. So, is this a good decision? Let's see. So we see 2 top. Wait, do we see 2 top?
Well, the Nyx is about to die.
Yeah, we see this guy top. We just see Razor getting a kill.
Yeah.
Wait, here. Okay. We don't see the LD. So this is probably a safe play. Yeah, see, that was exactly. Boom. That was great. See? Boom, look at that. Alright, push this shit. There you go.
It's usually around this level that I start to feel strong as Invoker, because I have like all of my orbs and everything and like a decent level of Exort. But
I think
like,
this
it's
is
just before this that I have issue recognizing when I'm strong or not as Invoker.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, you're not really that strong. Like, but I mean, just play Invoker games and you'll resolve that. Hitting this tower is a bit of a grief, though. You are quite close to your Hand of Midas. So like, really, what you should have done, I mean,
kill their easy camp.
Kill this easy camp. I mean, I don't think 100%. So like, you should only, like, every action in Dota, it's gonna have weight to it, and like this little thing, it may sound like it's a little thing. Just like don't hit this tower when you don't have any intention of killing it. When it doesn't like your goal right now is to get this Midas up. Like it's totally good to be putting damage on this tower, but I don't think it's as good as farming your Midas. Getting your Midas is more important. And I think if you didn't get this null, if you didn't get the circlet, you would have had this Midas like at 5 minutes or something. It would have been crazy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's like all of these little decisions that you're making. I think this is a totally fine decision. It's pretty risky to clear this camp. 100% makes sense. I hope you brought it to clarity with this. Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, like stacking and farming this camp at 7 minutes probably would have been a pretty decent play as well.
Yeah.
We're getting this Midas. This camp was dead. I don't really care about Midas efficiency that much. It's whatever. Like, getting that regen was pretty cool. Yeah. Nice. Especially with the regen rune. That's really good. Now let's go jungle.
Yep.
So when you're jungling, you really want to focus on killing as many creep camps in a minute as possible. That's the best way to think about how to maximize efficiency.
Yeah.
Right here, you probably should have pulled this camp with your little minion dude. That's one of the major strengths about Invoker is your ability to stack with him.
Yourself, yeah.
So 100%, like if you're not doing this, then like that now you're losing efficiency, and this is going to be the difference between a better Invoker player and you.
Yep.
So super important. I don't know how much you're like looking around the map for Sunstrike kills, but
I look around pretty constantly.
Your teammate should also be trying to coordinate. Okay, nice. That's good. Doesn't matter if you miss. Like literally doesn't matter. You did the right thing. Now the question is, should I push or should I not? That's going to be based off of like available information, and we don't see the Lina. We saw the Lina top. Don't see the Dark Willow. Don't see the Lone Druid. Is Dark Willow Lone Druid enough to kill you? No. So I think you could probably have shoved this, like put this damage on a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
It's totally fine to farm, especially because your Midas is coming off cooldown, but... So I think you're doing the right decision of when you're hitting this meatball. Is you're using it when you have to fight the creeps on the enemy high ground. So keep doing that. Like keep using your spells to clear when it's risky.
Yeah. So
100% good decision. A little sad you denied that. Okay, so all right. So okay, we're getting to the first big issue. This is a pretty shit Orchid game.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's pretty bad.
I don't think it's that bad. Just for the my intentions behind it was like with Orchid, I can pretty much solo kill Lone Druid. Because if I just get his like if he doesn't get his ulti off, like I have the Orchid, because he's never gonna buy anything that lets him not do that. The only way he can survive an Orchid combo on him is if he gets a Savage Roar with a bear, right? But
all right, what level are you?
And I figured too, like Orchid is a decent fighting item, but
so okay, let's test your hypothesis. So this was like what was the level of Lone Druid? I have no idea. Let's get him like level. Let's say he's level 10. Whatever, and then let's whoops, no, get the fuck out of here. Remove spawns. Select Invoker. What level were you? We'll say stop there. Stop. No, stop. We'll say you were like level 10 or something. I'm not an Invoker player, so bear with me. Can't tell. Did you have max exhort? Maybe
just max exhort, yeah. Max exhort, like 3 in Quas and the rest in Wex.
Doesn't fucking tell me anything.
That's because it's enemy, yeah.
Okay, so let's try and do cold snap, right? And then what's meatball?
EEW.
Okay. You had a null. I think you had boots, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna cast cold snap on this dude. I don't think he's going to be able to even cast True Storm, True Form. I don't even think he can get it off. I don't think the Orchid matters. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, he can.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted the Orchid.
I don't think it matters though. I really don't think it matters.
Maybe.
I think you're so likely to just fucking kill this dude without it. But like, look at the enemy team. Like, who do you, like? Orchid is meant for like storms and like quaps and pucks and shit like that, right? Like, Orchid is not a good item against a lone druid because think about the flip side. Think about if he gets true form off before your Orchid, now you're even more fucked. Like that, now it's extremely useless. So this Orchid is like this Orchid is not a good pickup here. Like, you are really, like, I mean, the Orchid also doesn't address any of the things that like are going to happen in this game. So like, Nyx is your number one issue here. Nyx is gonna fuck you up. You are gonna meatball. You're gonna get stunned. He's gonna cast, impale. Like, you have all this AOE damage, so you need a mechanism to deal with this Nyx, because Nyx is your number one. Like, he's gonna ruin your day. Your second issue is going to be this Dark Willow because of the CC that this hero represents. Like, they're going to Dark Crown you, Curse Crown, then they're going to Bedlam you or terrorize. They have all of this email about closed captioning. All of this CC. This is your issue. You don't have an offensive issue. Like, none of these heroes are survivable enough to really deal with your damage. Like, the lone druid is tanky enough, but like, an invoker has enough CC to render the bear useless. You can just cold snap the bear, you can deafening blast the bear, you can tornado the bear. Like, you have tons of mechanisms to deal with lone druid. You have tons of mechanisms to deal with razor. What invoker lacks is the ability to survive against these stuns. So you need to go. There's one item that you need to go in this game.
BKB.
BKB, 100%. I don't know. This is probably not a first item BKB, but it's probably a like survivability item into BKB, like something like that.
In this game, I get like a 23-minute BKB, right? But so the thing is, like, I knew I could get a decent timing on a BKB with getting another item beforehand.
Sure.
So that's why my thought process was like, just get the Orchid, because, like, for example, like you said, Nyx, right? He has all these abilities that like fuck me up, right? Well, if I get the jump on him, like, say if we're doing a pickoff scenario, because that's what my team wanted to do earlier, if I Orchid him, none of that ability like is available to him, right?
Yes, that's a good point.
That's like any of their heroes without other items like Yules or whatnot just die to any of my combos with an Orchid, regardless of what goes on. So that's what my thought process was.
Yeah, I think you're depending on them being bad though. I don't think the Orchid is like Orchid is like a best case scenario. It doesn't really address your needs, like. And so when you're thinking about itemization, you don't really care about, like, I'm not itemizing when I'm playing Luna, for instance. I'm not itemizing for a best case scenario where I say, like, oh well, if I get to stand in front of them and do as much damage as possible, then I'll kill them all. That's why I'm going rapier butterfly. I'm really trying to itemize for like the game losing scenarios rather than the game winning scenarios. So I think when you're playing this invoker hero in this game, I think you're looking for like items that help you survive and items that help you like farm. So I think the travels would probably be a pretty good pick up here. Like, you're never looking to initiate as this invoker on the team. Like, you have initiation. You have this ogre who's going to go dangle. You have void spirit who can jump in and kind of be survivable, and you have this axe who you assume is going to get a blink. So you're not really thinking, I need to carry this game. You have to rely on your teammates. I know it's RD12, so it's a little bit different. But I'm assuming you're not the highest MMR player in this game. Do you know who is on your team?
The axe.
The axe? Okay, so yeah, like, so you are now going to rely on this axe for this initiation, and your job on this team is to follow up. It's to play backline. Like, I don't know what the Orchid range is, but I'd be much more comfortable if my invoker in this game is just playing backline. They have no catch for you. The only thing you're worried about is Nyx. Like, if you're in a fight and your team is between you and the enemy, if you have all of your team as a buffer, you're going to win these team fights super easy. So I think travels. I'm not a very good invoker player. I don't know the best invoker itemizations. I would say boost of travel essential. I would say BKB is essential, and then you can get your luxury items beyond that. Sheep would probably be a good one. instead of Orchid later on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe just tank up. Just fucking get your tanky ass items. But yeah. Orchid, you already have enough offense. You don't need Orchid. So okay, yeah. So like your laning has seemed really good. I think you're doing a lot of the right things in laning. You're not even doing them slow. You're doing them like right away. It just looks like a couple of these like optimizations need to be adjusted for you to kind of like, you know, break through to the next level. This should have been a faster Midas. This Orchid probably shouldn't have been a thing. Yeah, just the BKB is so important. Yeah, I would say Midas travels, and then you can build survivability after that.
Yeah.
Bro, you're playing this really good. Like, even if you want, like, I don't know, you know, like a fucking, like, Falcon Blade or something, like, you know, just for a little bit of mana regen. I don't care.
I think I maybe could have gone for, like, I'm trying to think of good alternatives to the Orchid that are more defensive but still accomplish what I want them to.
Like,
I think Yules and Force Staff are probably the only other option.
Yep, I agree.
So, I probably should have gone Force Staff, I think, instead of the Orchid.
Yeah, but I don't think anything beats the Boots of Travel.
I have Boots of Travel in this game. Or at least I get them.
Yeah, like, I think this should have been a bots rush into BKB or something. Or like, a bots rush into, like, I don't even know. I mean, you can actually probably go Kaya Sange in this game. And it wouldn't be a grief. Like, if you're ever on these, like, intelligence cores, this Kaya Sange is, like, it's actually not bad. It's not the best item, but it's kind of like the item where you say, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to go.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Alright. So, I'm looking at your play here. So, we see nobody top, we see nobody mid, we see a shitload bottom.
Yeah.
You obviously die here. You took a look at them. Okay, so I see the solution to this play. What is your solution that you can think of after seeing this next TP out of vision and stun you?
Seeing Nyx TP out of vision and stun me, my immediate reaction would be to check to see if he has Dust of Appearance, right?
Yeah, okay, sure.
And then if he does or doesn't, that decides whether I go Ghostwalk or not. And then afterwards, I would either Ghostwalk and run up towards the top rune, because I know that their enemy heroes are in a triangle, so that's obviously not safe if anyone tries to run down there.
Sure.
Or if he does have vision, to either Tornado or Deafening Blast the Razor. That's about to probably finish his TP once I complete it. That's like my immediate thought.
Sure. So those are like pretty active solutions. I'm thinking about like a very passive solution, and that's to put your Forge Spirit right here.
Okay, yeah, when I'm pushing in general. Yeah,
yep, 100%. And I would say you probably can't push this tower if you're not looking at this TP spot. Yeah, I think you can also TP out of vision here now. I think.
Yeah, you can.
So
that's not within stun range, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
really
it's far, so you're gonna see him. So I think if you're pushing this tower, you need to cover your bases. Same thing, like, you know, when I'm pushing this tower, or when I'm pushing this tower, like I don't really push the mid tower as a carry, but when I do push this tower, I know that people are gonna fuck me up when they TP, you know, right behind the tower. So like if I have teammates, or if I have a summon or an illusion, I'm gonna put it there so that I can see the TP. And like, let's go look, like, you know, if your dude is standing here, and this guy shouldn't know that your dude is standing there. I mean, maybe he will, and it's attacking, right? Even if it's attacking from this position right here, he then has to TP here. He has to TP out of vision of your dude.
Yeah. And
that's totally good enough. This is a totally great distance for you to be. You know, maybe you need to be a little bit closer to your escape.
I should. Yeah, I think that's like the main issue. I should not. I
know the main issue is 100%. You have a summon that gives vision. You should fucking have him be here. So like,
yeah, I agree, because that's like something that I do all the time when I'm playing Arc Warden, right?
Nice.
I guess on Invoker I just hadn't made that connection that I can move my Forge Spirit and not just have it attack things.
So like, let's fog both teams. You can have this fucker right here. We see the TP. Yeah. So like, what would you have done if you saw this?
I would have just started attack moving to the left.
Yep.
Like, and then just, you know, as soon as the TP completed, like just walk away because what's he gonna do? Nothing really.
I mean, I would have just backed initially, immediately, but yeah, 100%. You wouldn't have died here at the very least.
Yeah.
So small thing, but like like you were doing all the right things. You saw you were seeing, like, you are safe to push, and you were very safe to push. It's just this one small mechanical difference is whenever like you need to be hyper aware when you're pushing a tower. You need to the only response that the enemy is going to have is TP out of vision and kill you, for the most part. Maybe they smoke here and catch you or something, but like we'll just give it to them. That's a good play from them, and that's space created for you. You are creating space for your Luna, so like that's actually not bad. Like if they smoke and kill you, good job. That's great for them. But giving them this really easy play when you're doing the right things, it's kind of like I don't know. It's it's like you're so close to being like having a perfect game.
Yeah.
You almost live, but you would have for sure lived with just way less effort than all that shit you're talking about, like check for dust and like.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually end up losing your maybe losing this tower over it. So like, small play, big impact.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So I'm really not too worried about your laning. I think it makes a lot of sense. Let's see if your tiny little tornado can hit. Just kill this bear. Fuck it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought at that time.
Oh, he killed him too.
Yeah, he walked into it for some reason, so.
That's pretty funny. Okay. So we're committing to this Orchid. You would have had your Boots of Travel by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna flame over like my efficiency. I don't think it matters that much. It matters, but like, it's not that big a deal. Okay, so this is a good opportunity to think about, what should we do? I don't think we saw this Razor TP, so I'm not going to factor that in.
Yeah.
But you have 4 heroes up here. You're super low HP. Your Orchid is on cooldown. You have no mana. What should you do?
Not be here trying to fight.
Not be here trying to fight. Definitely not. You should TP back to base now.
You think I should do back to base now?
TP back to base right now.
Okay. I figured I would just take some camps and walk back, and then save my TP for coming back out.
Yeah, so
not in the area, but
it's kind of a good idea, but it's actually just a like that's not the worst play what you're describing, but it's definitely not the most optimized. So your TP is going to be on cooldown for 80 seconds as soon as you use it.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to take you to actually be able to rejoin a fight in this current status?
In terms of my region, probably like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot longer. I bet you're like, I bet it's gonna take you at least 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes before you do anything useful again. If you just farm your back way. Hopefully you don't die. Like it was like 15. I think it was 15 flat. So you TP down here. So you not only have you used your TP, you're also out of regen.
Yeah.
And then like talking about this Orchid item, like you'd be getting value out of your Boots of Travel right now. You are getting almost no value of the like you basically paid 4,000 gold for a Clarity.
Yeah.
Maybe some attack damage too. So we said at 15 seconds or 15 minutes, you should have TP'd back to base. I guess you can Sunstrike now, but you could have Sunstrike from time below. You definitely would be farming camps by now. We're reaching 80 seconds in, so your TP is up now.
Yeah.
So 100%, like, don't be afraid. Like, it is not that bad to TP back to base. It is really not that bad. Don't be afraid to TP back to base when you're useless on the map. You should always do it. And the reason being is you should TP now, so that your cooldown is up sooner, rather than go back to base and then TP to a lane or something. It's going to be much more efficient for you to just get the TP on cooldown, because you're going to use the TP no matter what, and you're still going to travel from here to base. So it doesn't matter if you walk back, like farm back to base, or farm somewhere and then TP. It's just get the TP over with as soon as possible to get it on cooldown. And this applies for laning phase. This applies for like supports and carries alike. I mean, maybe not so much a carry. A carry would probably have a fighting sustain item like a Mask of Madness, and they can probably jungle from like 0 HP and Inferior to Clarity.
Yeah, I guess my thought process is because Invoker's kind of the same way. Like if I wanted to be full HP right now, I could. Yeah. I'm just not because like for example, Quas, like I put all 3 Quas orbs on them.
Yeah, I'm more talking about your mana.
A mana as well though, because now I have enough levels in Wex where if I just get an EMP on even one person, I'm gonna have like 2/3 of my mana, and that's enough to get all my abilities off. Which is what I was thinking. Like just do that and then.
Doesn't always work out. I saw an EMP and I don't think you got much mana off of it.
Yeah, well that was more of an issue of the fight, not the.
You know what's guaranteed mana? The fountain.
The fountain, yeah. True.
So just looking for like like again, it's okay. It seems like your decision making is based off of best case scenario, when really your decision making should be based off of worst case scenario. Like you can win Dota games, but you're also most often going to lose Dota games. Like it's a 50-50 battle, and it really depends on the what your lineup is. In this situation, you have a better draft. It's going to scale later than your enemy, so when like you are more likely to lose than you are to win. Does that make any sense in terms of your impact in play?
Yeah, I get it.
Like the enemy team is fighting uphill against you, so you have to give them opportunities to take advantage of. Maybe they make good plays and they take those opportunities, and if that's the case, then that's good. Like in this situation, are you going to TP to lane? If the answer is yes, you should TP to fountain. Just get this TP off of cooldown, and then you can be more impactful. Or, if you have your travels, again, how much has this Orchid helped you so far?
Not that much. I definitely should have gone. I still am not 100% certain that Orchid's the completely worst item.
It's not the worst item.
I think I should have gone travels before the Orchid. That I can definitely agree with.
I think the Orchid is like kind of bad. I think even a Kaya would be better than it. If it or fuck, go Veil. Like I don't know, as a 6K player, I think the Orchid's bad in this game.
Yeah.
Not the worst. I mean, I don't need to flame, but I don't want to drill it in. But yeah, 100%. Now we have some good items. Maybe this might have even been an Ags. Probably more damage.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah. I was wondering how early I should have been.
You can get Ags really early. Like it is a good item to get. Like as soon as your Axe has blink. Yeah. Fucking get that Ags, and you will blow up anybody in the game.
Yeah.
All right. Good kill. Now we got this travel. Let's make use of it. Let's go top. Push out this lane. Or farm Ancients is fine too. Or use your Midas. Good. But let's try and be a little bit active. Think about how to optimize. I'm not sure what you're doing. It seems like nothing.
Yeah. It's because I wanted to push out top, but the Axe was there. But then the Axe started to come down here. And right now we said we're going to smoke.
Sure.
This team has the issue of we call the smoke and we don't do it until 30 minutes later.
Yeah, that's normal, and that just sucks. I mean, that's the difference between Pub Dota and League Dota, right? Is sometimes this is the sign of a bad team is when nobody's on the same page. And so you can have some low MMR teams who actually perform quite well. It's because they're decisive, and you have players who respond quickly. But sometimes you get a lot of players who are like one more camp, wow, my TP's on cooldown, that kind of shit. But that's just life. Yeah, the correct play here. Let's go back to when you were idling. Even before this, I think, right? No, after this. You get your travels, you get the kill. Okay. So you get this kill, and then pushing out this lane is fine. I mean, I would actually say this is probably the Luna's job. Whatever the fuck. Luna's dead, never mind. So yeah, this is fine. I want to see these Forge Spirit. Okay, they're getting hurt. Kill this guy, nice. You still have them? What do these guys do?
I think I just forget that they didn't die.
Oh, okay. So these guys need to be pushing out the lane.
Yeah.
And then you need to be TPing top. Like Invoker, like an Exort Invoker, is basically pause 1 priority. Like in terms of farm, like you are a super hard scaling, like core, and like Luna's gonna find farm. Not this one apparently, but
yeah.
You know, like when you're playing an Invoker, you don't need to give any farm to anybody. You take that farm. You are a black hole of farm. Try and be as aggressive as possible on the map. And so, okay, this is looking like something that I can give you advice on too, is how to make impact on a game. Your laning's fine. Your itemization definitely needs to be optimized. And I think some of your decision making also needs to be optimized to shift from like, how am I going to win this game, to thinking about how am I going to throw this game, or how am I going to lose this game, and in terms of like, you know, being defensive in your itemization, being defensive, or at least maybe being realistic in the way that fights are going to go rather than being optimistic.
Okay.
It's really like I do the same thing. You're thinking like, you know, what's the best case scenario? How much damage can I pump out on Luna? Maybe I go Luna Ags and I give it to this fucking axe and he blinks in and kills everybody at once. But then, like, how often are we going to do that? It's probably better that I just get a BKB and a Scotty and tank up, and then just, like, you know, just A-click and not die. So on this Invoker hero, you know, like, you already have the tools to kill people. You know, this would have been really good if you were a Quas Wex and you had to make space for your team, where, like, you needed to win the early game. Probably would have been a better choice.
Yeah.
So now I want to try and... I'll probably need to show you rather than look at your game here. But let me try and find one of my replays. And yeah, okay, we'll go this Wraith King game. And so definitely a different concept to like Invoker. But
yeah, like
when you're playing any core hero, especially like a farming priority hero, you need to make space, and you don't have to make space through like attacking people or drawing hero attention. You know, one of the ways you can exactly.
Whatnot,
like, it's something we all know.
I get that concept when I play heroes like Arc Warden or Carry or something, right? But I guess as Invoker, like I said, 90% of my Invoker games are Quas Wex, so I try to think of like, how can I run at them the most? Right, but then when I come to Exort, I kind of get caught in between because I know I need farm and I know I'm really good at farming.
Yeah.
But I also still feel like I need to run at people. So I guess that's where my like gaps in itemization come. Because like you said, like Orchid on Quas Wex is really good a lot of the time.
Yep.
Helps your damage issues and whatnot, right? But on Exort, I still think of it as Quas Wex even though it's actually Exort. I think it's mostly just a mental thing so far is what it feels like to me.
Totally. Yep. I think you're right. I'm just gonna try and get to the mid game, like 16 minutes or whatever. So, okay, you'll notice there, like, in this lane, like, I kill the creep camps, and even though I have skeletons pushing, let's see, okay, remember, my skeletons go, I don't see anybody on map, so I back, but, like, I'm pushing it into the enemy tower, and I don't like to hit jungle camps when I'm playing a carry. Like, a lot of times you have to hit them, but it's not, like, you know, ideal. I'm playing in the dead lane right now, you know, like, this is a bad place to farm, right? But like I'm doing it because I have a Morphling on my team who like, you know, isn't gonna make space, and my actions here, like I'm gonna be in lane. Like I'm literally like this is the stupidest play you could make on paper is pushing out this lane, but I'm fucking here. I'm here pushing this out, and like I'm forcing somebody bottom to like protect this tower, and constantly thinking about how I can shove a particular lane. You know, I don't see anybody, so I have to go back. But like again, here, right? I'm in a lane, shoving it out. I see some people top, so I'm just probably I'm just going mid. I'm literally like diving mid and smacking a tower. I'm probably gonna get a reaction now. If anything, I'm gonna make it. You know, if I don't get a reaction, then I take the tower.
Yeah. So
like this is the kind of play that is like, you know, the next level elevation, I guess. To like, you know, to really have impact on a game when you're farming is kind of challenging, and that's like a skill that like divine players don't even have. Like it's mostly an immortal level skill.
Yeah.
So when you're in these games where you don't really know what to do, there's a pretty good answer, and that's like, shove a lane as safely as possible. So, despite me, like, look at this. Like, despite me having like literally 3 kills, I guess, but like, I'm not intending on killing anybody. I'm not intending on doing shit. Like, I'm #1 net worth just from pushing out lanes, and this is something you can do on Invoker really well too, with your Forge Spirit, with your hero. You have the ability to safely do it because you can meatball and then run away.
Yep.
So let's take a look at and look at some of these examples. Some of the things you could have done just to give some tangible sort of like, decision making. Let's go here maybe. See, do you have travels yet? Hell no. There. Okay, I think we're about to get travels. Very good. Luna dies. Yeah, protect this lane, shove this lane. Totally agree. Nice. We got this kill, which is kind of fun. Alright, so right now, creep wave is about to spawn. So, 100%, like, have your Forge Spirits chill with this creep wave and shove it out. And then TP top, shove that out too. We see Dark Willow, we just saw Razor bottom. There's no chance that they can kill you. I don't care if this Axe is here. Like, you are, like, he even TP's mid. I guess because you call it smoke. You are the farm priority. You don't even need to be at a fight too. So, like, fuck this Axe. Fuck your team. Like, get your farm.
I do Sunstriking range creep a lot. Like,
nice, to push the waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's sick. But, like, these guys could have been doing, you can just hit the wave instead of the tower. Like, yeah. Like, why is this enemy team allowed to be playing here right now? Oh, sorry. That's more of a rhetorical question, not a real question. Like, sorry, we should not allow this team to be playing here right now. These people should be reacting to you, and they should be reacting to your split push. And I literally mean your split push. You are the strongest hero in the game by far. You have the most net worth. You have the best ability to clear waves. With this Forge Spirit and with this Meteor Hammer, you could be having so much more impact on the game, like purely just off pushing waves. You get a lot more farm, which would be nice. You could probably have like BKB Ags by now instead of this BKB Orchid. That would probably be maybe reasonable if you went like if this decision to get this early Midas was in play. You'd have a way faster boots of travel. You would have pushed more lanes. That would have decreased the enemy farm, because if you push lanes, then you open up enemy creep camps. And you give vision so you can't get ganked. Or like, it's going to be really obvious when you get ganked. Like, you guys are stuck to your triangle right now. And so yeah, TP top, push this out, summon Forge Spirits, push out the lane. Like, literally try and do as much as you can to shove these lanes out. So yeah, the reason this is happening is because you're just not shoving lanes.
Yeah.
So easy fix, and like maybe if you're comfortable shoving lanes on Arc Warden, then that means you're a good split pusher. So like just transfer that skill to this Invoker hero, and you're gonna get a shitload better at Invoker. You're gonna have a lot more wins. It's a really easy way to win games. So yeah, right now, let's think about right now where what you see on the map. What should you do?
Be bottom probably.
Yeah, 100%. TP bottom probably to like maybe not this catapult. Probably should have been like here or something, like whatever. You see next top getting chased out. You see this hero. This hero is the only thing you care about, by the way. Like,
yeah,
you probably don't care about Dark Willow. You can probably like escape still, like just tornado and run the fuck away. So you only care about Nyx. So as soon as Nyx shows on the map, then that's a cue for you to go to the other side of the map and then do something farm oriented. So yeah. I think I have a pretty good handle on your gameplay in terms of your strengths and weaknesses. So it looks like you're a really good laner, you're a really good split pusher, but you're being a little tentative. Looks like you're sort of itemizing in the wrong way and thinking about opportunities rather than opportunities for you to die. You're thinking about opportunities to kill. So let's just probably end it here unless you have any questions. but I think I can give you some like really concrete tasks to improve upon.
I'd like to look a little bit further into this game, like when it like starts getting really far in their advantage, because I kind of want to know what you think of how I played in like the point where we were really behind. Because it's not long after here, I think, where we lose like all of our T2s and we're just like basically turtling and nobody's really doing anything.
Dota's over at that point, so there's not much to really talk about. All you have to do is defend high ground and hope the enemy fucks up. When you've dug yourself this much of a grave, or like however you want to look at it, like you just don't play stupid Dota. And, don't walk up to a tower when you know people could be there. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like right now, you still have two tier 2s. So the optimal Dota is to be split push. Okay. When you see somebody TP back, then you can fight. So pushing lanes is the only way to come back from this type of deficit, and you're really looking for an outplay. Better teams are going to know as soon as one person TPs, everybody has to TP, because the only way that you can win a fight is a 4v5. So your goal in these situations is 100%. Force a TP, then run. You do not smoke. You do not try and take a team fight until you have forced a TP back.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't see you top right now, even though you see 3 or 4 bottom. So like that's a grief. You're the one who should 100% be TPing into this lane and shoving it.
Okay.
And right now, 2 Forge Spirits mid. 100, like just push that out. So do as much as you possibly can. Okay, so you see this Razor? Run the fuck away. TP out. Oh, well, I guess you saw the Nyx bottom. Yeah, so like that's kind of the thing. Is like, so like in this game state right here, this Void Spirit is doing your job. And like maybe he's going to be better at it, but like he has 1200 HP, you have 1800, and you have BKB and all this utility damage. It's going to be really hard to split push against a Nyx assassin. You probably have to do it. You probably have to split push pretty safely, like from the woods. But like your team should be 4-manning here and just protecting this Luna as the Luna farms. You should be, splitting. Hopefully you have vision, but you probably don't. But you should be splitting, and you should be like, as soon as you see anybody, you just like tornado, like, and then TP back to base, and then your team smokes.
Okay.
So like,
come and get it.
My mindset at this point was my Luna needs farm, so I need to protect her to get her farm.
Sure.
But
yeah. That's not gonna. You need to make space for it. You need to make space by shoving lanes. Like you shove lanes. Look at all this. You get all this vision. You get to see where the enemies are, because they're eventually somebody's gonna show. Oh, LD just TP'd.
Yeah.
He's stuck here. He's stuck here on the other side of the map. 100%. Just take this tower.
Okay.
Just take these fuckers and be like, all right, guys, easy tower. LD just TP'd. You wouldn't see his TP cooldown, but like you would know that 10 seconds ago he was down here and now he's moved over there. So like, this is the type of play that's gonna net you a comeback from this type of thing. And I mean, even still, like in any game, if you notice a TP, if you force a TP rotation, and like right now, you guys are literally running towards the LD. This guy has a TP. Oh, I guess he doesn't. But like, you are giving them what they want. They want to group up with this LD right now, and they want to push this tower, and you are running into them. What they don't want is for you to pick off the one guy that they can't protect. Yeah. Like if your team, instead of running mid here, had run and smoked and hit this, like just like he's a Nyx farming a wave, like Axe Blink. Maybe they're dumb and they try and protect him. Maybe there's Razor TPs. Maybe the Dark Willow and the Lean TP. Those are free kills. Like you are now forcing a 3-on-5 because you're probably going to kill this Nyx, and then the LD can't TP.
Yeah.
So 100% how you come back into lost games is you split push, you force TPs, and then you run at anybody who's on the other side of the map.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Yes. So I would say you're not feeding, but you're not contributing. Like right here, this is a meatball. Like just meatball this wave. So
I was trying to hold the ball because I thought that my teammates were looking for a fight, so I wanted to save like my big spells for the fight.
sure.
Because meatball has a really long cooldown, you know.
Yep.
So.
Now, as soon as
That's
you
why I
lose
just had
one,
to force
you're
it,
fucked. You can't fight anymore.
Yeah.
So now, like, you know, think about it the other way instead. Like, instead of saving meatball, actually try and get some utility on it. You're definitely not going to get any use out of it in a fight, because if you try and fight, you're probably just going to die.
Yeah.
So let's not keep it on cooldown. Let's, like, you know, keep Eclipse on cooldown. That's, you know, and don't use that to push out a wave. But like, you know, a cooldown like meatball, it's like 40 seconds or something, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100% use that as soon as you can.
Okay.
All right, dude. So I'm gonna outline some homework in the Discord chat,
Sounds good.
and I'll include the split push homework. I'm gonna include some objectives when you're itemizing, and your laning was totally fine, but really, yeah. So it's gonna be the two main things are gonna be itemization and, from what I can tell, shoving lanes on this Invoker hero.
Okay.
Alright, dude. GG's, brother.
GG's.
Let me play my awesome fucking outro. Boom.
Oh, sick.
I know, dude. Alright, bro.
Very good.
See ya.
See ya.